This week on The Valley.
He called me the other day and said that he didn't know if he was going to get kicked off the show, so he was prolonging it in case he needed to get alimony from me.
Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to the radio. We're going to be recapping Season 2 Reunion Part 1 of The Valley. Let's get right into this. I am glad they got a reunion this year, unlike last season. I do wish that it hadn't been filmed so early because there's a lot that happened since they filmed this like either late April or very early May, and a lot's happened since then. But anyway, let's get right into this. We see everybody getting ready. There's so many people on these couches. Andy Cohen begins by introducing each and every one of the cast members. Brittany and Jax haven't spent much time together. Michelle and Aaron moved in. But again, like I said, lots has happened since this reunion was taped. Aaron and Michelle broke up. The announcement came out last week. I was a little surprised and I want to know what happened. Kristen and Nia are pregnant. Obviously, they've both had their babies by now. Jasmine and Melissa got engaged and their wedding is next summer. Andy asks Janet how she lost so much weight. She says Adderall and Pilates. Then Andy says that this season, Kristen truly was the voice of reason. She says that she takes that. The only thing, though, there is one thing that she regrets. Only one thing the entire season. And she would like to apologize to Janet for the night when they were on the boat because she went off. She said, I would smack you, I'm gonna beat you up, you whore, and all of that. So she does apologize for that, which is nice. Janet says, I appreciate it. Andy asks, what is Brittany and Jax's, what's the status of the divorce? Brittany says, hopefully soon it'll be over. He called me the other day and said he wanted to prolong it because he didn't know he was going to get kicked out of the show. In that case, he would want to ask me for alimony, which, by the way, he was kicked out of the show and the bar. Andy asks about Michelle and Jesse's divorce and, what's their goal, what are their goals for tonight. Jesse says, I think that this season there was a constant battle of who's going to win. Michelle says, win what? There's no winning with you. If I were Jesse, I would have been like, what'd you say? I can't hear it from down there. Andy then asks Kristen about her fertility issues that she went through this season. Kristen says that they were really distraught, and we saw that. We saw that journey. They got pregnant 2 weeks after filming ended. They ask Luke about, what's her mood like now that she's pregnant. Kristen says that when they did the IUI, it looks like that's what really helped them. And part of me wonders, had they done that like right away, like as one of the first things, would that have, prevented such a difficult journey? Or I wonder if maybe like you have to try other things before that. I'm not sure. If anybody knows, let me know, because that's definitely something that I was wondering. As far as a wedding, they don't really have much plans for that right now. It's not really at the top of their list, or it is, but not anytime soon. They're gonna have this baby and take care of it, which totally makes sense. It was nice to hear that Janet said that Kristen will be a good mom. Nia says that this pregnancy for her, it's really it's going very well, and she's also enjoying it because knowing that it's the last one, it makes it feel special. Danny jokes that Nia headlocked him and that's why she got pregnant again, but he says he might get a vasectomy. Brittany says Jax should get a vasectomy because if he doesn't, he might end up having 20 baby mamas. Andy asks Jax, well, do you use birth control? Brittany says he's disgusting. I wouldn't touch that dirty dick with a 10-inch pole. And Jax is like, that's not what you were saying 4 months ago when we were at the aquarium when you were drunk. Brittany says, yeah, I might have said that, but now knowing everything that I know, knowing all the people you've hooked up with. And then he says, well, you've hooked up with a guy who had been with P stars, and then she's like, well, you hook up with OF models. So they were just going back and forth. It was crazy. Kristen says that Nia has been a huge support, and the fact that they're going through their pregnancies together, it's great. Andy asks Nia if she thinks she will get postpartum again, because she was really open about that last season. She says she doesn't think so. When she had the twins, it was a lot. Of course, you'd never know if you're going to have it or not. It's a chemical balance type of thing. But she's got a great support system. Andy asks about her body issues, which she was open about this season. And she says, I lived in LA. We all live in LA. I've been in the beauty industry for so long, so I definitely feel the pressure, but I do also think it's really important for each and every one of us to do what makes us feel good, but also giving ourselves grace. So there's definitely a balance. Andy asks Michelle if she has any baby fever, and she says sometimes. She says Aaron has mentioned having kids. Again, they broke up last week, so it's kind of crazy to hear her talk about, maybe they'll get engaged and things like that. They talk about the divorces this season. Michelle says that she filed for divorce because Jesse was always diminishing her and putting her down, so she didn't want to be married to someone who talked to her like that. She says that when they had an anniversary, she said to herself, do I really want to go through this every day until the day that I die? So she didn't want to, and that's why she filed. Jesse says that they are pretty good at co-parenting, even though Michelle weaponizes their daughter. So Michelle says, I've never done that. I've never used our daughter. And Jesse says, explain then what you said to my mom. Well, apparently Michelle had told Jesse that if Isabella couldn't spend time with Michelle's mother, then Isabella couldn't ever go to see Jesse's mom in Boston. Nia and Janet do say, but yeah, Jesse, Michelle's mom was dying though. Like, come on, you understand why she wanted her daughter to see her. Jesse says, I never said that she couldn't see Michelle's mom, but Michelle was planning to go on a trip to Italy. Anyway, they ended up hiring a counselor who told them that they did need to let the daughter see the grandmother. In regards to the custody battle, Jesse doesn't have a lawyer. He's representing himself. He says he's watched enough Suits. I think he might not be able to afford one. But anywho, Andy says to them, but there is not a lot of assets. So, what really is the issue? What's the holdup? Shouldn't it be pretty smooth to just get divorced? Michelle says that Jesse wants her to pay back money she spent during marriage, and he says no, that's not true. Sadly, our divorce has become tit for tat. She wants me to pay for trips that we took back when we were married. He claims that he wants to move forward and put out the own fires in his life. Listen, both of them, they are the personification of two sides of the story. They literally have their own side, and I think that neither of them are 100% truthful. I really do think the truth lies somewhere in the middle. I don't think Michelle is as horrible as Jesse wants her to be, and I don't think Jesse is as horrible as Michelle is trying to make it seem like he is. Anywho, Jesse is still dating this girl from the OC. Michelle says that she doesn't have any relation with her, nor does she want to. Jesse says that his girlfriend did reach out to Michelle about a month into the relationship to talk to Michelle about, just the whole situation. Here she is dating a man that has a daughter, and she wanted to talk to the mother. Michelle didn't want to, because she says that the problem is Jesse and Michelle had agreed early on not to introduce their daughter to any of their partners until a certain time. And then Brittany jumps in there and she's like, yeah, Jesse, you let your girlfriend hang out with your daughter, but you didn't let Aaron see her. Jesse says that honestly, to him it's different. He sees it differently. He sees introducing his girlfriend, who's a woman and who's also a mom herself, to their daughter. He sees that differently than a man being introduced to his daughter, and he just doesn't really want a man around his daughter, and I don't think that's unreasonable, and I would feel the same way. Janet says it's the same thing. No it's not, and he's her dad, Janet, so shut up, worry about your kid. Andy says that Janet had mentioned that Jesse's girlfriend was threatening legal action, and Jesse says no, she didn't threaten to sue or anything, but she did send a cease and desist because she didn't want to be in this show. Like, she didn't want to be talked about, unlike Aaron, who we saw was very happy to come on and film on the show. Michelle claims he never got paid for being on the show. But Jesse then says that Sheena also called his girlfriend and said, "You will never be liked by any one of you are with Jesse." I can definitely believe Sheena said that. Sheena wants to be in every damn thing, and why is she talking to other people about you'll never be liked? You're not even liked, Sheena, so worry about your own status with everyone else. Andy asks Jax how is he going to react when Brittany starts dating someone else and then their son's going to meet them. He's like, I don't know. Which Brittany's like, well, he's already gotten very angry at who I'm talking to. Jax then tries to gaslight everyone about he's going to therapy. Then they talk about Jesse and Kristen's friendship. This reunion was all over the damn place. There was really no structure. It was like jumping from topic to topic to topic to topic, like a hot potato. No structure. But anyway, Jesse says that they got very close because Kristen had sent a very kind message at the end of last season, and he had invited Kristen over to his house. Kristen agreed. She says she was kind of curious, but she really enjoyed going to his house because they really clicked, because she was able to let him know how certain things that other people do can trigger you because of, previous experiences and things like that. And he was willing to listen and not make excuses and apologize. So that was nice. Andy then says to Michelle, you said that Jesse likes to cry and make people, see him. He wants people to see him cry. And she's like, yeah, he can cry on demand. And that makes it easier for people to connect with him. Jesse says he's always been a crier. He cries every time he watches the movie Rudy. Janet says, well, sometimes you cry and then it goes away right away. It was funny though, because Zach is like, we could say the same thing about you. Danny and Nia ended up moving to Santa Clarita, and it's not that bad. It's only about an 18-minute drive to the valley, and they got a super big house. Andy then brings up this boys chat. So Jax says that it began after Tom Schwartz's wedding. Brittany says that they degrade women on there 24/7, and that's the reason Zach says he got out of it. Only Jax and Jesse are on there from this group, along with the other guys that are in it. They kicked out Danny for telling Nia about it, but Brittany tells us that Jax used to show her all the things that would be put on the boys chat. He would also show her some of Jesse's messages. Matter of fact, Brittany says Jax didn't even like Jesse back in the day. Danny says that when he told Luke what Jesse had said on the chat about Michelle, he says he forgot the cameras were down. Then those two dehydrated, thirsty vultures by the name of Jason and Janet are whispering to one another, he's an actor. He knows how mics work. Shut up. My goodness. Then they switch over to Michelle saying that Jesse is broke. He says, I'm fine. So she says, who's paying for your rent? Who's loaning you the money to pay for your rent? She then complains about he didn't want to leave the house, so she had to move out and pay for rent somewhere else. Oh my gosh, you guys. Michelle makes it so hard to feel any sorts of empathy towards her. She's just so draining. Or this attitude that she has, it's so draining and exhausting. Maybe that's why Aaron left her. And he asks Jesse, was he a douche when he was younger? And then they joke about him having a tongue ring when he was younger. Brittany had one too. It was also kind of funny that during the commercial break, Jesse asks Andy if he wants to be in the group chat. And Andy's like, no, it's an HR issue. I'm glad he's finally learning his damn boundaries. Then we move on to talk about Jax and Brittany. First things first, when did Brittany start seeing this Julian guy? She says it was probably a month after breaking up. Jax says that they didn't make a rule about dating each other's friends or somebody in the friend group because that should have sort of been obvious. He says that he, to be fair, also broke things. He brought people into the house when he said he wouldn't. Brittany says that Jax got so aggressive that day when he found out about Julian. He threw the coffee table. It landed at her knee. He threw bar stools, laptop, phone, Stanley Cup, and he even shoved her into a bush outside, which the ring cam caught. Brittany says, yes, maybe it was messy to hook up with his friend, but Jax had been degrading me, body shaming me, belittling me constantly. So Julian made me feel wanted, and he gave me attention. He made me feel beautiful. And that's what she needed because she lost her sparkle with Jax. Jax like, sparkle, enough with the sparkle word. Brittany says, I had your son and you body shamed me for stretch marks. He's denying everything she's saying, but Zach, Jasmine, and Kristen are jumping in there and they're corroborating that Jax would say these things because they've seen either the text messages or they've heard these things, or whatever the case may be, but they know it is true. Andy brings up what Brittany said on Watch What Happens Live about their sex life not being the best, or specifically his performance not being the best. She rated it a 3 out of 10. She says, look, yeah, obviously I would say that, like, because it's not like they were having much sexual activity towards the end of their marriage anyway. Jax then tries to play this victim role where he wants to explain his behavior. Oh, things were bad when I got fired from Vanderpump Rules and COVID happened and I just felt this way and I felt that way. He thinks that because he can explain it, it can be excused. But Brittany says that, when that happened, she still tried to hold him down. She had his back and wanted him to feel good. As far as custody, she has full custody. He can see their son every Wednesday and the weekends. And obviously she's not going to deny him from being able to see him as long as he passes the drug test that she is mandating. Jax says, I definitely don't want to uproot my son from his house. So that's where Brittany says, yeah, I had to move our autistic son from house to house because you made us move out. And then you didn't pay the mortgage for months. Andy then asks Jax what made him seek help when he went to rehab. He says that it's because his job was on the line. He wanted to better himself for his son. Apparently, Jax went to rehab twice. He had a relapse one day, but he's now been sober for 156 days. He's still smoking weed, which everybody wants to act like it's okay. I don't know about all that, but at least it's not as bad as the other things he was doing. Brittany does make him do these drug tests, but she asks him straight up, are you on steroids? He says no. She says, and why is your behavior so sporadic? What is it? Why are you just as crazy as you were before? The disrespect is insane. Jax claims that he's not on steroids, he's not on anything. That's why he likes these tests that she makes him do, because he says drugs and alcohol have effed up his life. Then he cries. I didn't see no tears. But he says, people think I'm the devil, but I'm human too. I put everything out there. That was the end of the episode. These people are so pathetic. This reunion got on my nerves for some reason. I don't want to hear about Jesse and Michelle anymore, and I sure as hell don't want to hear about Brittany and Jax. Next season, y'all can fire these 4 people. Like, I am so over it. It looks like next week, you guys, my blood's going to be boiling because based on that little preview of Jason going after Danny, I'm going to be mad. But like I said, you guys, this reunion felt odd. It was all over the damn place. I didn't feel like we were going topic by topic. It was like we addressed one thing for like a second, then jumped to another. But you guys, let me know what your thoughts and opinions were. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on next time. Y'all have a great one. Bye.